How many people are we waiting for?
No, I think we can start.
I don't see Charity.
Only a missing, yeah.
Oh, she isn't.
I think she's.
Stanislas did not listen to what I was asking yesterday. Put you on the spot. So if there are any of you who do not want to follow Galaxy from scratch because you are comfortable with Galaxy, so Stanislas has attended a lot of Galaxy trainings, and he doesn't want to start from scratch with Galaxy. But with Galaxy, you don't ever really need to be bored. You just okay. So if you are okay, let me first check. Besides Stanislas, who else wants to do an advanced course where you're not going to follow me? Or if you are going to follow me and along the way, don't follow me. Do you? Okay? If so, this part then is for you. If you start to follow me and along the way you get bored because everything's coming back to you from before, just remember, and I'm only showing this to those who are familiar. The rest you will see it again. You can click on this. On this Galaxy training thing over here and follow along with any of the other trainings that are here. Like Stanislas is probably going to try this One Health. You can see that there are 9 courses, statistics and machine learning, there's 17 courses, and visualization 5. So these 3 may be applicable and kind of in line.
They're all freely available.
Yeah. So you can follow, I mean, there's everything from, I don't know, ecology, and this is obviously epigenetics. People want to do proteomics because you can actually view the 3D shape of the protein in it as well. So yeah, go wild. For those who want to take it a step further, I give you Panga and that have a little more experience with and want to get into the maybe DevOps side of things or something. There are Galaxy administration ones and developing the actual development of a Galaxy, your Galaxy with a Galaxy instance and wrapping of tools into Galaxy. So there are some advanced stuff. I don't want to start without Charity because she said she really has not seen, doesn't even know what Galaxy looks like. So, in the meantime, where is my close it? On the course, I have uploaded ignore the little bit of the markdown issues. There seems to be an issue with Jekyll, the thing that we're using for this, and the rest of the markdowns. We're trying to sort it out. But can you register? Not here. Actually, yes, here. Not this one. So if you can click on this link that says we will be using the European Galaxy server and register for your. No way. Load shedding?
Yeah. There we go.
let me just say something about Galaxy. On the course website, pathogen. The pathogen genomics March 2024 that is another news. Should I put this link in the on the Google Doc?
Yeah, I think it would be helpful. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so it should take you to yours is not going to look like mine because I'm logged into this. But at the end, it should say .eu. Use galaxy.eu. If you click on the link in the course, you should end up here, and then you are going to log on or sign in if you've already. If you haven't used Galaxy before, then you have to register. If you have, you may already be signed in. But just make sure that it says use galaxy.eu because there are Australian, French, African, American galaxies, so it should not say org or anything else but .eu for Europe. If you are registered and logged on, can you put up your green sticky note?
Who needs sticky notes?
Do you need sticky notes? Sending you want to so? You can register again with the new email address if you want. You can have several. I have for Galaxy EU probably 3 different accounts with 3 email addresses because that gives me 600 gigs of storage that I can use for free. I think it's is it 100, 150, 200? I think I reduced it, but initially used to have 200 gigs to use. Okay, I see 2, 3, 4 green. Stanislas? Have you logged on? Okay, everybody's fine now. Before you do anything in there, we are all going to be running these processes at the same time. Now, there was a bit of confusion about how this works, so I'm just going to clarify it again. When you're running any analysis on Galaxy, you are not running it on your machine, because there were some people last week who said they don't like to submit their stuff to Galaxy at work because it runs slow, so they prefer to do it on a weekend or whatever. But once you submit it to Galaxy, it runs on the server in Europe, right? At most, the problems that you may have would be to upload stuff from your machine or from a URL to the Galaxy. So your input data uploading into Galaxy, if you have a slow internet connection, that may take long. But once it's in there, anything that you do on there is not running on your internet connection, but it's going to run on the Galaxy server. And the reason why it may be faster when you do it at home or at a different time is possibly because this is European, we are more or less at the same time. So those people, those of us who like to work overtime, who like to work at night, who are workaholics or like to work weekends, may find that it runs faster weekends or after hours because we are not using it when everybody else is using it. That's why. Okay? The second thing I want you to do, and this is why I'm telling you that, is there's a link in here that says first hands-on with Galaxy. You have to click on this because I've had to book infrastructure, training infrastructure for us to use so that we can all follow along more or less at the same pace. So they've allocated a server to us, a machine to us, so that all of ours run together. Otherwise, if you run it on the normal Galaxy server, you basically go on in line, whoever submits first, and if 10 other people from Europe is submitting in between, then you find that you're lagging far behind the others in the training group, because so ours will be given preference on that machine so that we can all more or less finish at the same time. So you have to click after you've registered. This won't work before you've registered. After you've registered, you click on this link and you should get a congratulations, you successfully registered for. If you see this message, please put up your sticky note and then we can officially start. Meka, you're not seeing it. Oh, it's on the training website under, I'll go back, under first hands-on with Galaxy, there's a, then click this link to register as part of the training group. Okay, I'm assuming everybody's fine. Okay. Before we start with Galaxy, let me just say, some of you are going to have a very strange relationship with Galaxy. At least for most of us, most of the people that I've spoken to have had a similar experience. I was trying to figure out how to explain this relationship on my way here. You know, if you ever watch those movies where the guy and the girl meets and they fight, they're at each other's throats, but you know this is going to be a couple, right? They're fighting, they hate each other, and at the end of the day, they realize that they didn't hate each other. What they were feeling wasn't hate, but it was passion, right?
Yeah.
And they fall in love eventually. This is sort of like what Galaxy is like for most of us. It's that guy saying this woman is way too complicated. Why are women so complicated? Because initially it seems complicated, depending on your first encounter with Galaxy. And the pace that you're going at. It may seem like, why are all these buttons? Couldn't they simplify this? But at the end of the day, at some point of the journey, you don't even realize when, but you fall in love. Okay, so that's how it's going to be. I'm warning you already. You may hate it at the start, but eventually you may come around and you may actually find that you do like Galaxy. There are also those people with a little bit of, let me cut to the chase, arrogance, that feel that they shouldn't be using Galaxy, that they should be using the command line interface if they're proper bioinformaticians. We had somebody here from Canada who did his whole PhD in machine learning in Galaxy and published how many papers. So you can use Galaxy. Peter and I still use Galaxy. Peter still uses Galaxy all the time. In fact, you're going to be using the command line from tomorrow onwards with Peter for 3 days. Tell me if I'm speaking too fast, because I can get excited and get carried away. But some of the tools that we will be using on the command line in Backtopia are not available in Backtopia. Some of the things he wants to do. But luckily the tools are in Galaxy. So you'll be switching between the command line and Galaxy, and you'll find that this process may happen a lot. You will find that certain things you can quickly do in Galaxy, or there's a tool for it in Galaxy that's not or missing in a package that you're using, and you may switch between yourself and Galaxy. There are very advanced people like the systems administrators. They are also able to build, so your systems administrator, or you if you're very proficient in it, can build your own Galaxy instance. We have one in Sandy, which means that if you have issues with privacy, security, whatever, and you don't want to, because this is a public database, you don't want to submit your data on there, your systems admin person can create your own Galaxy instance, upload all the tools that he knows your lab uses, and you can then run all of your data, which also solves the problem of being slow to upload the data because it will be linked to your server. So you can just access your data from the server. So again, there is space for the very advanced people also to use Galaxy and wrap tools for your team in order to use your own Galaxy instance. Okay, so let's get started. I want to go straight into the Galaxy 101 for everyone, although I'm going to do parts of it. Actually, let me go straight into, you can do this one as a follow-up because I want to go at a slower pace because that's often what people complain about. So I'm going to use my own, this was mostly, by the way, I need to give credit to Peter. This part, the introduction, most of it was typed out by Peter. I just changed a little bit here and there. But I'm going to go to my own notes. So if you click on the connections part, just hover there for a minute. And then I want you to just have a look at my screen quickly. Because I'm going to try and do this a bit differently. So just relax and look at my screen, right? If you were to see Galaxy for the first time, and you see this in front of you, there are 3 panes actually. You can see this is sort of demarcated here by a thin line. This is one pane. Ignore this line, this is one report. And there's another pane over here. Okay. If you look at this pane over here, and you're looking at it for the first time, can I put somebody on the spot? Like you're looking at this for the first time, right? What do you think this part here, what do you think you'll be able to do in here? If you kind of look at what's in here, what would you find here? In fact, you can even get a clue by looking at the search bar.
Yeah, tools.
All your tools, right? So all types of tools that you may use for different analysis. And if you look properly, they've actually stratified it a little to make it easier. You can see that there are general text tools. There are tools for manipulating genomic files, so your usual stuff like FASTQ, FASTA, bed file, VCF manipulation. You can see that there's tools for genomic analysis, but you can see what's happening on this side. There's also an upload data button, so you can see that this will be the section where you'll probably start off. uploading your data, and this will be the section where you'll be looking for tools. If you look at the middle section over here, what do you think is happening over here? Results, yeah, you can see that this kind of displays results for you, or information. And this side, yeah, so this is kind of like if somebody had to look at your machine and they saw all of your folders and everything, and your folders have names, or and they can actually see all the stuff that you've done, where all of your folders are. So this is like your workspace. This is like your desktop or your documents or your files or whatever, where you would store all of your stuff. You can see all the files are here. But this section is also where you would see your jobs running. So if you were to input a file and run a tool, you would be able to see it running over here and check the progress over here. Okay. Now let's go to the collections. This part may take a while. But to not waste time, let's go straight into it. Okay, so there are two ways to do it. You can either go to this link right on top, which I've deliberately left like that. And then if you click on that, you will find all of the datasets that we'll be using on Zenodo. If you download it, it will download to your machine. And then from there, you can do the upload. But you can also go to this section over here and copy all the individual files like this, and you'll be pasting it into Galaxy. In order to do that, so I wonder if I should give you the option to do it. I don't want to complicate this, but I also don't want to waste time. Okay, let's do this link that you had, this one. Click on this link and download it to your machine, because otherwise there are going to be too many steps. Click on this link that you see over there. It will take you here to the subsamples. Then click on this button here that says download all.
Let's see.
Click on download all and download it to your machine.
Is it a zip file?
Mm-hmm. Let that download so long, because that's going to take time. Then let's go back to this introduction tab. Yeah, you have to be logged on.
This one.
So you have a problem.
Login.
You can't log in. Is it asking you to log on? Did all of you manage to download it to your machine, or were you asked to log on? Okay, who has the files on the machine? No one.
Down.
But it is downloading, right? Did you have to log on?
No.
Because I did make it publicly available. I'm not sure why you had to look.
Yeah. Waiting. Yes, was. For my login.
Yeah, please.
And the login is
And you don't have. Can you open?
No.
Do you have Chrome installed? Did you do hers on Chrome? Or what browser is she using?
Say again?
Chrome. You also using Chrome?
Shouldn't be simple. No, it shouldn't be simple.
Was this the first screen that you made?
I know.
Do you have another browser? Can I use this one? Some of you are not seeing the download all button. I don't know. And some of you need to log on. Because it just downloaded it. Oh, the date minus the change. Okay, there should be 14 parts. Yeah, in your, for you specifically, I'm saying because you didn't download the zip file, so you have to do it individually. Okay,
Don't forget.
we're gonna follow the short introduction to Galaxy course first, and then we're gonna do the same thing
The
on.
link is not working. You still get the bad gateway.
Huh?
Gateway is not working for this machine. I don't know connection.
We can put it on Slack. The links. If you paste the link,
The machine to sign up, she does not accept.
but but you're gonna have to do it, paste it individually. On hers, Nasser, don't you wanna go to
Not to the menu.
don't you wanna go to the actual links and just copy this and open a new history and paste it into a history file? But the problem is she's going to have to change the individual file names because. Does somebody have it on a USB?
Just a copy of the USB.
It's very strange. You're the only one who has issues with it. And you tried on Chrome and you tried on another browser.
Maybe they don't have the computer machine volume. It's like maybe they brought the computer.
Just open the history and the problem is this is gonna slow it down for
It has to be inside Galaxy.
Hmm?
It has to be inside Galaxy.
Yeah, open a new history and just paste those links so that this is already. The only problem is she can remember the five people.
You want Galaxy? Use Galaxy.
I think remember this it's
Okay, just but we're not going to use that now. Just didn't want to have the start for it. So when we're going to use it, you're going to have to. We're going to upload that from your machine into Galaxy, but I'll show you what. Okay, we've already had some hiccups, but let's go to. If you look at the introduction section again, are all of you following this? Are you on the course website? Okay, so if you go under this part here, first hands-on with Galaxy, there's a link, a short introduction to Galaxy. Can you click on that link? And you will see the objectives here is to learn how to upload a file, how to use a tool, how to view your results, your history, and to run a workflow and to share workflow. Again, you can also see that this tab over here, if you click on this button now, but if you click on this, it will take you back to where you can see all of the different courses that you can do. But we're going to scroll down and we're going to start here. We've already done most of this. What does Galaxy look like? But let's just look at a few more things. So if you can see up on me, I've got something that says use 7%. If you've just logged on, yours will probably say 0%. If you've used it before, there will be some percentage. Okay, but this basically is an indication that you've logged on. Here on top, you will see that you can click on this if you ever need to come back to this screen over here where you can do all of your analysis. But you can see that there are several tabs here. This you've become familiar with. Workflow, sharing data, there's a help tab as well. And like I said, this tab here, the Scholar one, is for training materials. Okay, so we've already kind of covered most of what is happening over there. Now, I want you to go to Galaxy and click on this button over here that says Create New History. If you click on that, you should see this, or if you've logged on for the first time, you should already look like this. On top here, you will see Unnamed History. So again, I want you to think about your history as a workspace. So remember when you were doing the packaging and the package management and you had to create a new environment for Conda and you were told Every time you do a new type of analysis, you create a new environment for that specific tool. But you kind of do the same when you are doing your analysis as well. If you do SARS-CoV-2 analysis, you don't do that analysis and put all your data sets for cholera and mpox also together with your SARS-CoV-2. You kind of separate them into different folders. So see your history as being able to separate your different workspaces for the different types of analysis that you'll be doing. And it is advisable to name your history to something that is intuitive and will help you find it, right? So you're not going to name it dataset 1 if it's actually SARS-CoV-2 dataset. You're going to call it SARS-CoV-2 dataset. So in this case, we can just call this introduction. And how to change your history's name is to use this button over here that looks like a pencil. So you click on that and you just change the name to introduction, and you click save or enter, and you will see the name has changed. Okay, so now that you've created your, let's say your directory introduction, where you're going to do your analysis, the next step that you would want is to obviously put your input data in there, your data sets. So we are going to upload, there are various ways to upload data. But it will usually go via this button. There is another button, but it will usually go through the upload data button. So if you click on there, you will see that you can upload from your local machine, so from your laptop or computer, whatever you're on. You can choose remote files, or you can paste and fetch data via URL. Okay? There are also other things here on top, but we won't be using that. That's a little bit more advanced. But here you can also see that there's something that says type and auto detect. This is basically something that detects what type of data you are uploading. And this one automatically detects the species that you're dealing with. So we're going to go to, if you scroll a little down on the training material, you will see a little black box over here with another link to a URL on Zenodo. You can copy that like that, or you can just click on copy here, and it will copy the link. I prefer that way, then you don't have to worry about not catching the whole link. So on the tutorial, always keep the tutorial open. On the tutorial, if you scroll down to, we've done this part where we clicked on the upload button. You will find the link. Just click, copy the link. There's a black box. Copy the link and you click on paste fetch, and you can paste your link over there and click on start. You will see over here on this pane that it shows that it's gray at the moment. Remember the previous screen I showed you this section and it was all green over here? When you first upload your dataset, it's going to take time for it to upload depending on the speed of the internet. But you will see it will go from gray to this kind of PG color to say that it's being processed, being uploaded, and then green once it's uploaded. If yours is green, please put up a sticky note. Are you DAFA?
Start. Close.
No, the first one. The one that says introduction, not the one that. So not this one. But you only show the eyes and this is yeah. Then you can start. If you've got a whole bunch of files that you pasted, you can just click on, you can just, if you upload here and you paste them all in here, but let's say you have a whole lot of that, you can just click start and close the box. It will still continue to upload. I don't know how to cancel it once you've already pasted it in and click start and you maybe realize that's too many data sets or something, but you don't have to sit there and wait, what I'm saying, for the box to turn everything green for, let me just show that again. If you paste it here, and let's say I'm going to have to delete this. You click on start, you can immediately close this. You don't have to wait for the box to turn, that box to turn green to close that box. Okay, now you know how I deleted the data set, so hopefully you saw that. Okay, so in order to view what is inside of this file, I'm going to go bigger. If you look at this side, what do you think of these three buttons? Which one do you think I would use to view the contents of the file? Yes. Does it look like an eye? Because okay, so firstly, you can expand it. If you click on this, you can expand it to get more information about the actual file, so you can see the size of the file, which is 3.9 megabytes. You can see sort of like the content of the file. This is also where you can, for example, download a file, and you can get information about the file by clicking on the I button. And if this was a BAM file or a file that you could visualize, you should be able to click on the visualize button and, for example, a mapped file, see an alignment of a file. But if you want to look at the content of the file more clearly, you will click on the I button. And this is obviously not really beneficial at this point in time, won't it actually give you any information. But you can see that this is a FASTQ file and what's inside of the file. Just to note, again, just like the pencil button that you had here, you have a pencil button here as well. If you click on this pencil button, I normally advise you to do that. Here you will check if your file type is correct. For example, if you look at the data types, it will say it's fast Sanger. If you feel it's the wrong data type, like maybe you uploaded a text file or a CSV file and it says text and you want to make sure it's CSV, you can change the file type over here to the correct one. In our case, it doesn't really matter because ours is already on the correct one, but there's a myriad of file names here, as you can see. Okay. And then also, here you can rename the file name. So, DAFA, you're probably going to have to use this eventually when we do the second part, but this is where you can rename the file and click on save. We don't have to do that. Or maybe for practice, let's do this. Let's call this file name Let's pretend it's inbox. Let's call it inbox and click on save. If everybody could successfully do that, put up a green sticky note. And then after saving the file, let's run a tool on this. One of the first things that you will obviously do starting any data analysis is to check the quality of your file. So we're going to run FastQC. Let's see if you can do this on your own. Where would you go to find the tool? Search tools. Okay, so click FastQC and see what comes up. While we are here, sometimes you will find that if you search for a specific tool, let's say FastQC, you will see more than one tool popping up here. Okay? That is just that whoever is the developer behind it has uploaded a new version of the tool and maybe hasn't removed the older one, or maybe for some reason they are keeping both there because of compatibility issues. I would advise you to choose the most recent one. You can click on it, like now you may click on this file, and if you scroll down to the all the way to the bottom, you will find information about the tool. But even here on top, you can see, no, sorry, that's a version, but you can see the tools version over here, 0.12.1. You can see how they want you to cite the tool. There is a tutorial on how to use the tool. And it also tells you a little information about the tool, what FastQ is used for. Right under at the bottom, you will see the help, and then it will tell you what the tool is about, etc. Usually, it also tells you what input files are required. Input files, I mean the type of file that it will need. Because remember, certain tools only take certain formats of files. So it will tell you, and it could also possibly tell you what the output files are. Here, again, this looks a little bit complicated, but if you actually have the time to look at what is here, you will see it's quite intuitive. But there are 3 different boxes over here. You will see that it's automatically on single datasets. But you can change this to multiple datasets, which means you would have to choose your datasets. We only have 1 file uploaded, so obviously we're not seeing more. And you can also click on data collection, but we haven't gotten there yet. We will in the next. We don't have a collection, we only have 1 file. So it's automatically on single dataset, and you can see it tries to preempt based on what is in your history or in your directory here, working directory, what it needs to use as input, and it has automatically put in the inbox. R1, by the way. You see the R1 there, that's going to be significant.
Yes, yes, sir.
Sorry?
Not to show you have so many things right.
Is yours showing
I'm
something?
not seeing QC with quality check.
Did you type FastQC in the tools?
I need to search for it. Yes, QC.
FastQC, then you just click on the one that comes up on the side here. Okay, and this part in the middle now is almost like if you were on the command line and you are selecting the input files and you're selecting the parameters that you want to use. In our case, we're not changing any parameters, and Galaxy has made it easy so you don't have to put input files in there. But obviously, when you're working with the command line, you will specify the path to where your files are. You will specify which parameters are used. But we don't need to here. It's all done for us. but always double check. Okay, so in our case, we did want to do the inbox one, so you click run tool, and you can see again, it goes from gray to say, we kind of haven't started, but we've received your prompt to run this tool, and it will go to yellowish, peachy to show it's busy running, and to green when it's done. And then for those of us who have used FastQC before, you should be familiar that you get a raw data file and a web page file, but the most useful one to you would be the web page to actually have a look at your analysis or the output of analysis. Okay. Was it still running? No one. Everybody's done. Run. You done, Charity? Done. Okay. Everybody's done? Yours is still running. Okay. Okay, so again, your data, your analysis, the results of your analysis is in the one called web page. By you, it may be number 2. By me, it's number 5 because I uploaded 3 data sets in between and then deleted them. But yours will probably say number 2 FastQC web page. So how will you go about looking at the content of the file? From your previous, you want to look at what's inside the file, which button you're going to click. Click that button and let's see what we can see about the still running. Okay, almost right. Okay, so maybe I'm not phrasing it properly. If you wanna know more about the file, then you will click on this to expand this and see. This is a HTML file. For example, like I said, you can download the file here to your computer if you want to publish this. But if you want to look inside the file, like if you would double click on a file on your desktop or whatever to look at what's inside the file, you would use the I button. Okay? These panels can be moved so that you can see more. If you look on the side, you will also see there's a little arrow here and a little arrow there where you can actually expand this if you want to see a better view of the report. Like that. And if you want it back, you just click back on those arrows. Okay. Okay. So let's answer the questions at the bottom of your tutorial. If you scroll down to where you see the page of the FastQC output, there are questions at the bottom. Don't click on solution, just the first one says, what was the length of the reads in the input FastQ file? This is just to test whether you can actually get the information. Firstly, what do you think about the quality of this report? Can everybody read FastQC reports? Who has never seen a FastQC report? Everybody has, right? Okay. Or those who didn't answer, Mika and Islamia, you have seen FastQC reports. Okay, so somebody said the FastQC or the reads are of good quality. Do you agree?
Just explain what it says. Just explain.
No.
Regardless if you have seen it, please.
Now this is basically just looking at the average quality of the reads. You would want to have the majority of them in this green section over here. And in this case it is. Sometimes you can have some of it, especially at the start. The same year you can actually see the start and the end starts to these are all box plots. So you can see the length is the box plot is starting to kind of tend towards the yellowish part, but they're all in the green. So this is an example of good quality. You can see the sequence length of the files in general are around 150 base pairs. It also says it's a Lumina and the total number of sequences. And then you also, thank you, you notice something about the GC content. Are we happy with the GC content, 37%? You don't know? Are we happy with the GC content? Everyone is quiet. What should the GC content be?
Depends on the council.
This is again, you have to know your organism. You can't make a general rule like for humans it's 50%, so it's 50% for all of them. You have to know what you're working with. So you need to understand. I normally look for about 60% GC content when I work with tuberculosis because that's the GC content of TB. If you're working with insects, you'll be probably more likely to see around 40%. But you need to, so this isn't a clear-cut answer. Okay? This is not about describing the QC, the fast QC report. This is about just being able to view this. This will all be done by Peter again when we're doing it. So I'm not going to go explaining all of that because it will take about time. Do these reads have I've already answered this. Do they have a higher quality score in the center or at the ends? In the center, but that's usually what you see. Okay. Let's go back to, I'm going to close this. I'm not going to do this part because that's, we don't need to see that right now. Okay, let's do it. So let's run another tool. Oh, this one is also hard to find. The next part of the tutorial says, let's run another tool. So the nice thing about using the tutorial, but okay, it's not going to work now. Let's look for the tool called filter by quality. I'm just going to copy it inside of the Galaxy. So we're going to run another tool. See, this one is always an issue. Okay, don't type in the whole, just type in filter by. Don't copy and paste. They fixed it a bit now. So you're going to do filter by quality tool. And then we're going to change some parameters. This is to show you how to change parameters on the tool. So with the fast QC one, we didn't have to change any parameters. We didn't even have to put in an input file. Galaxy, as simple as it is not always going to be that simple because you may want to change some parameters for your. So we're going to, you can see again that it has somewhat automatically done some stuff. It selected your file, but we want to change the quality cutoff to 35. At the moment, it's on 20. Okay, so change the quality cutoff to 35. And then click again on Galaxy keeps on getting updated. These are old tutorials. So in your Galaxy it will say run tool. And here it says on the tutorials it says execute. It used to say execute. And this tool you used to have to scroll all the way to the bottom to run the tool. Now they've put it both at the top and at the bottom. So that's brilliant. You can send yourself an email notification. Sometimes you actually would want to do this. When we do one of the analysis later on, you will see some of the tools are very computationally expensive. They run for hours. Even I've had a 5 megabyte file and it runs for hours to do that analysis on me. So you may want to use the email notification to tell you when the file is ready, but we don't need it now. So just click on the Run tool.
Tracey, the percentage of business, or we just was together.
Oh yeah, you have to change it to 80. Okay. Let's read with that. Thank you. So 35 and 80, and then just run the tool. And then firstly, is everybody following? Tell me if I'm going too slow or too fast. Are you following what is happening? Okay, you are using Galaxy instead of your command line to run tools, to input data, etc. You have, in our case now, we've gotten a file from the internet, but you may have files already on your computer that you want to analyze. You can do that too. You may have it on your server. You may use the FTP function on there. There's also a way to get shared data from other people who have shared their data online. There are various different ways of getting input data, but you've done it via Galaxy. You've searched for a tool. You've created your own workspace by, in this case, a workspace, or your directory is called a history. And you've successfully renamed the history. You have renamed the file. You've checked whether your file is the right format. And you've checked the contents of the file and the quality of the file. Okay, we're continuing with doing some more quality steps. This filter by quality. FastQC does not do any processing of your file. It's only telling you what your file, the situation is with your file at that stage. This part that we're doing now is you doing some processing on your file. You may be familiar with Trimmomatic, Trimgalore, FastP, all of those. This is filter by quality is similar to that, which changing two parameters to process your file to a better quality. So again, you can click on this button, this actual file link here, and you can see which parameters you ran. You can see that the quality cutoff was 35 and the minimum percentage 80, and you can see the amount of reads in there. Now, if you, like previously what I did, I forgot to put one parameter, to change one parameter. You can actually rerun this. If you scroll to the bottom here to rerun, it will show you that you can open up this. Again, I'm going to show it again. So it looks like this. Let me just click on this. If you click on the actual file name, not the I, but the file name, there are some things that you can do down here also. We're not going to download and do tag and all of that stuff. We are going to, there's a little icon that looks like a circular arrow. That is to rerun the tool. If you click on there, it pops up the tool again. Then you can actually correct it or change the parameters. So they are telling us here to, instead of using 35 like we did before, we are going to change that to 36. So just change the quality cutoff from 35 to 36, nothing else, and you click again on the Run tool. What you can now do is you can compare how much the one file has changed compared to the other. You can even compare to the original file. although it hadn't changed much because the quality was good. Remember in the original FASTQ report we saw total sequences was 12,480. We then did processing on that file. If you expand this, you will see after changing the cutoff to 35 for 80% of the reads, you still have 12,480 as input. As output, you've lost quite a considerable amount of reads, not that much, 14%. After you change it to 35, if you change that to 36, you saw that you lost even more of your reads. In fact, 92% of your reads were discarded. So this is a way for you to double check, to just have a quick overview of what changed with your file when you change the parameters. Okay. So, one of the things that you may want to do is to share your history with someone. Now, it may be somebody here, maybe like Mtafa had an issue with a thing and she doesn't know what's wrong with it, and she wants somebody else to check it for her. That's sitting in another room. She can share her history with that person who will be able to look at all the steps she took, all the inputs she put in there, and try and help her and assist her from there. So, to share your history, there's a drop-down button over here. Okay, this has changed much since then. I'm not really following this, I'm following my own. You can share your history over here, but you have to, if you want to, click on Make History Accessible. Now, you can either make this available to everyone by clicking this button, or you can send the URL to somebody. So this is exactly like if you have a Google Doc and you send somebody the link and you change the access to everybody who has this link can see my content. You can send them that, or you can actually just add the person's email address, pvh@sanby.ac.za. It takes a while and then and then you can just save it, and the history will be shared with that person. Okay, but we're not going to do that. Please don't send Peter your history. And then the last thing we're going to do before lunch, before tea.
Specific email addresses that we can share. Like just Gmail.
You can send it to anybody. But I don't know what happens if you put the wrong email address in there. But if it doesn't exist. I don't know if you get an error. But there's no domain specific email address. Like you can send it to anyone. You can send it to me or to yourself. If you want to see what it looks like. Okay, so if let's say you're the senior person in the lab, and you've now created this lovely workflow where somebody can input files, and they can do a fast QC on it, and they can change the quality of the data, from minimum cutoff value 35 on 80% of the reads, and you think you're very proud of this workflow that you created, and you suspect that this is going to be something that the people in your lab are going to be doing often, or you're going to be doing often. You can actually save the workflow so that next time when you get input data. You don't have to select all the parameters again and whatever, it's already there. All you need to do is run the tool and then just select the input data. Then you can actually create your own workflow. So let's pretend this is our workflow over here. It takes an input file, runs FastQC and filters. You would then go to extract workflow. So again, in your history, you click on this drop down. You click on extract workflow. Here I would name it to something intuitive, like maybe workflow, FastQC, and filter by quality. Why can't I type it? And you click on create workflow. Where do you think you will find the workflow that you've created? Because it just disappeared now. If you look at the buttons in your galaxy, I'll give you a clue. You look on top in the blue section. Yeah. So to find it, you can go to workflow. Now I've got obviously other stuff here, but you should have only this one that you've created.
Tracey,
Yeah.
yeah, question. So, let's say you create a workflow like this, and then later on, you go on to add some other tools, other processes. Will it automatically update, or you have to go and update?
We'll see that later. You can. Yes. Okay. So you've created a workflow now. It is available. We're not going to touch that yet because we will be talking about how to change the workflow, how to make sure, how to view it and make sure that everything is in there that you want in there. We're just asking if you want to add additional tools and things to there. Can you, or do you have to then create it from scratch? You can add additional tools and you can even change the parameters again on here if you want to, on your tools that's in there. The last thing, let's leave that one for later because we will be seeing that when we, let's leave that because that's kind of part of the other one. Okay, so we can have an early tea. Are there any questions on that? When we come back, we're going to look at making connections and then running workflows, changing workflows, sharing workflows on the connections. And are there any questions? No? You want me to go at a faster pace when we come back? Faster?
I think I still have an issue. Like when you're sharing the workflows, when I put my email, it says that you cannot share. So that you're not registered as well.
Did you click on make it accessible?
Like that it is true. Yeah, sure.
No, I think you might come just after lunch.
So it was 60.
Did you email me though? You must email me. But you will be here tomorrow. You will be here tomorrow until
I
5
remember
p.m.
that.
But he's
That
teaching.
is right. Yes.
But if you don't see
So
him today.
the issue is, okay, the person, that's a good point.
Maybe I appreciate it. I just want
The person that you're sending it to needs to have Galaxy. So if you're sharing it with, because otherwise they can't view the thing because it's in Galaxy. So you can only send it to somebody who has a Galaxy account. Because otherwise, yeah. Is that what you were asking? It can be any domain that you can, because you can register with any domain account, but the person must have a Galaxy account to be sharing the history with. Okay, so we can go for an early tea and then when we come back, we can go fast. If people have asked to go fast.
same please.
Huh?
think same pace.
Same pace.
It's okay.
Who wants fast? Okay, I'll tell you what. When we come back, I'll try to make the notes as clear as possible. If it's too slow, you don't have to follow with me. You can follow the notes. When we come back, we'll be doing collections, so we'll be here. So you can read through it and you can follow the notes at a fast pace. And if in between I need to call your attention to something that is not in the notes, I will let you know. Charity, is that fine? Okay. Okay, so you can work, because I know it's gonna. Stanislas, what are you doing? Stargazing. Are you following again? But you can teach already now. So why don't you do? You don't want to do one of the other ones.